Thank you very much. My name's Jeff Morgan. I drove 150 miles to be here tonight. Wow. I had the honor of being in Senator Hall's district, and now I'm in Senator Huffines' district. So, I mean, I've chosen wisely, huh? Yes. I've got two questions for you, if you don't mind. The first thing dealing with CPS, and Senator Hall was actually the first legislator that actually helped me out with this. The one concern that I have with CPS is that I am not convinced that the reformation within CPS has taken place. My suggestion is if CPS makes a mistake, could they try to rectify the mistake? I've testified before Hank Whitman, and he made the commitment to do so. He still has not done so. It took me a year and a half, and actually going to Senator Van Taylor, another outstanding senator, to get some relief. In the meantime, because of that, I lost $20,000 defending myself, and I have not seen my grandchildren for 2 years. I am really concerned about CPS. Senator Hall, you said we could change something. So if you look at the Texas Family Code 26101B, it talks about professionals being reporters, mandated reporters. 261-109 says that if they fail to report, there could either be a misdemeanor or possibly a state felony, and yet we give them anonymity and confidentiality, and I am not sure why that is. Why are we giving them anonymity when if they don't do it, it's a crime? And that's what actually happened in my case, and so I have a very personal thing with that. The second thing is you've talked a lot about education, and I know you're both on the Education Committee and Veterans, and I thank you both as a veteran and as somebody who cares about education as well. But one thing I've not heard discussed when we discuss budget issues is the breakdown of the family. There was a study done in about 2009 talked about the taxpayer expense for Texans about the breakdown of the family and unwed childbearing. And it was $4 billion, and that's almost 10 years ago. And it's an issue that we're not addressing. We had the opportunity this past session to at least do something with equal parenting. And Senator Hall, I enjoyed your comment about attorneys finding ways to bring up fees for hail damage or for storm damages. They do the same thing in family courts. And if you look at the statistics of what happens with either children coming from broken homes or fatherless families, I believe if we could address those, some of these other issues that were mentioned would start to address themselves.
Government cannot solve all problems. We have a social, civil problem in our country that's reflected in the problems we have in our schools, in our divorce rates, in our single parenting, and our empty churches. That until America gets the message that we need to return to being a Christian with a nation of Judeo-Christian values, of recognizing who God is and living accordingly, because a republic form of government was never designed for anything except for a righteous people. It will not work with an unrighteous people. And this is something where our churches have failed us. Our churches, at one time, this country was founded by pastors. It were pastors that led the people. They were the leaders of the community. Matter of fact, we give Thomas Jefferson all the credit for writing this great Declaration of Independence. If you take a look at the grievances that he lists in there, you can go back and find multiple pastor sermons for every one of those issues that he listed in there. We have pastors like Muhlenberger, who stepped from behind the pulpit, took off his robe, and he had the colonel's uniform underneath it, and took his men out to Lexington Green. But we have abandoned God in this country, and we are seeing the results of that. And this is not something we can pass a law to fix.
I think on some of this, though, if you don't mind me just very, very briefly interjecting, we allow no-fault divorce, which is actually unilateral divorce, with 60 days, and there is no due process protection to the individual who does not want it. Because in 100% of the instances in which a divorce is filed against somebody who does not want to be the participant in that divorce, he or she loses. We have Fifth Amendment protections and 14th Amendment protections. Our laws in the state of Texas allow this to take place in violation of the 14th Amendment. So this is a constitutional issue, and it's a constitutional issue that we are not addressing, which is causing a lot of these other issues. And I will agree with what you're saying, but there are some legislative fixes that we can stick into place to help curtail it because we're allowing it.
I'll just address it real fast. I had 3 bills drafted relating to divorce. The bill that I thought could get the most traction was a 6-month wait, FD5. And it didn't. And I ran it up the flagpole with a lot of different senators, and it's just not going to get a lot. There were some bills filed in the House. I concur completely. We can pass legislation that helps. It doesn't stop it, but it can help.
Right.
Most people don't realize the #1 cause of poverty in the United States, if not the world, is divorce. It's divorce. It's a single-parent household, and it's very preventable, right? And so we should, as a state, focus on keeping people married, keeping them married and keeping them together. They can earn 2 wages. But as Senator Hall was saying, if you look back at the history of the United States of America, what was it our founders talked about extensively? Was to defend the republic, you had to have a virtuous society. You can't have liberty without virtue, just like Senator Hall said. So it's important. It's part of the process, and we need to get back to that after we got out of our schools. Is where a lot of things really start falling apart in our country.
Yes, there are some things that can be done. We've talked about them. Senator Huffines did have some bills that would address them. We do some things with the way we hand out money to encourage the breakup of the family at the federal level that I would like to see go away. And there are some things that can be done that make a bad situation worse. And we will work on that. And I'll be glad to sit down again with you and talk about this some more to get into the specifics of it. And Destin's right there, and he's gonna catch it before we leave here.